The term Norse mythology really should properly be used for myths of gods and heroes that we read about in Old Norse, that is specifically in Scandinavian sources, like the Poetic Edda, which I have translated 11 years ago, and which has just appeared in a second edition by me, released by Hackett, and I'm going to be talking about here at Old Firehouse Books in Fort Collins, Colorado on April 14th. But a character who's often mentioned in online sources as part of Norse mythology, but really is better understood as Germanic mythology, is this being called Wade. He comes up very frequently in mentions in chivalric Middle English literature. Chaucer mentions him a couple times. We never really get to hear any stories about him, only that stories about him exist. For example, that he is a dragon slayer and seems to have a mythical boat. Now, he gets mentioned in one source that is in Old Norse, that's Thithreks Saga. But Thithreks Saga is largely based actually on German materials rather than Norse materials. Thithreks Saga does make him the father of Volander, a well-known Norse hero, and a hero of English and German mythology alike. But we don't know that that was necessarily part of the true Norse tradition before the influence of chivalric English and German literature. Now, Wade is also a common name, but probably has nothing to do with this hero. It probably just means someone who's from a place where you wade the river, right? From a ford, just like my last name means, right? Crawford, the ford where the crows are. Now, that name in Old Norse is Vadi, but again, this name doesn't actually occur in Old Norse poetry, only to my recollection right there in Thithreks Saga. I've recently read a really interesting article, I think it was actually just from 2025, about Wade and a portion of a poem about him that's in very early Middle English that appears in a Latin language sermon from about 1200 from England. I'll link that article in the video description and in a pinned comment on this video if I'm near a computer when this posts. So again, someone like Beowulf or Wade, a hero of mythology in a Germanic language, but not of Norse mythology as properly understood, which really comprises a lot of material, more material than English or German mythology does in the form of the Eddas and mythical heroic sagas, but not these guys, so far as we know.